Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be doing a first impression on two fragrances, Wulong Cha by Nishane and Sherbet Rhubarb by Comme de Garcon. So stay tuned for that, and if you like the content, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. So these are actually two fragrances I've been interested in trying out. I am a fan of Nishane. I haven't tried out a ton of their stuff, but I will say the stuff that I've tried has been good. So I think that they are a highly rated brand, and I think so for a good reason. They do have some fantastic performing fragrances that smell really, really good. And Comme de Garcon, I haven't smelled a lot of theirs. I have smelled a Wonderwood, do like it a lot, but I also really like Rhubarb in a fragrance, and so I decided to try this one out because it's a brand I would like to try more of, and it has Rhubarb. Now first, I'm going to go with the Nishane. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The only thing I don't like about these samples is they are dabbers. Now this is a tea-based fragrance from what I understand, and it has been talked about fairly decently in the community. I know there's some people that swear by this fragrance. I do think this is a good fragrance apparently for summer. This is kind of why I chose these. They're both spring-summer fragrances. But right off the bat, I do actually get that tea. So it does smell like a relaxing kind of green tea vibe. There is something in there a little bit green. Maybe like a chamomile tea. But there is also a green note in there that's giving it quite a nice dimension. It has a little bit of liveliness. I see why this is perhaps considered to be a relaxing fragrance. There is something with just a hint of tartness. And I will say this one does actually smell pretty good right now. Now I'm going to go to the Comme de Garcon. I want to let this dry down for a second and revisit it, and I'll do the same with the Comme de Garcon. It just gives me a little time to see a little bit more of the fragrance than just the opening and the first top notes. So here with the Comme de Garcon, I'm really hoping to get a lot of that tartness from the rhubarb on this one. Which, actually, I don't really get that much right now. It does have a bit of a bubblegummy, almost ice creamy vibe. Now it is called a Rhubarb Sherbet, so that is kind of like an ice cream thing if I'm not mistaken. There's a little bit of freshness, a little bit of sweetness, but I am surprised for a fragrance with rhubarb and rhubarb very strong. It's not very tart. It is interesting. Now I'm picking up a little bit of tartness. There is a floral background, but very fresh, very different as well. So I have a hard time really relating this to other things, although it does smell a little bit like a floral fragrance, if you will. There are plenty of floral fragrances, but it does give me that impression of those heavier floral fragrances. There is a nice greenness there too. Something in it is giving it a really nice green quality, which is actually pretty enjoyable. It does remind me a little bit of shiso in that regard, which I think also has rhubarb and a lot of greenness. It doesn't smell the same, but there is some vague reminiscence, I think, because it has a greenness and rhubarb. But very fresh, uplifting, nice, sweet, not very tart. I do get a hint of that rhubarb, which I was expecting to be a lot heavier actually. So back to Wulong Cha. It does definitely have this very strong tea note. In fact, tea is almost the only thing I pick up. A little bit of greenness there. There is something else in the background, but very, very tea-like, fresh, a little bit refreshing too. Very calming, relaxing. Reminds me of sipping tea, really. It gives me more of like a green tea, chamomile kind of a vibe, so it definitely has something in those notes that gives off that impression. But very nice. So if you like tea fragrances, Nishane, Wulong Cha, I think it is a good one. Another one I really want to try from this house is Ambre Calabria, which is supposed to be a great summer fragrance. Unfortunately, they didn't have samples of it available at the time that I did place an order, but it is one that I'm looking to try out. This is a really nice chill fragrance. I think this is a great one if you're just relaxing, loafing around, or you're doing something low-key. I mean, I think it is well put together, and you could potentially wear it in more formal and classy situations because it is a nicely put together fragrance, although I don't think that's really sort of where it would star. But ultimately, yes, good tea fragrance. If you like that tea dry down that's in Under the Lemon Trees, then I think you'll like this fragrance, because this is really so far the dominant sort of vibe of the fragrance. I still get a little bit of that bubblegummy vibe with the Rhubarb Sherbet. I still don't really get a strong rhubarb note. It does have a little bit of one, but you know, if I'm thinking about rhubarb fragrances, something like Shiso that has it, or Danger Pour Homme by Roja Dove that has also rhubarb, actually not, sorry, Danger, Scandal. The rhubarb adds a little bit of tartness, and I don't actually get that with this one, so that's actually kind of interesting that it's a different take. It's a little bit, it comes off a little bit fruity, florally, very fresh. I did get a bit of a bubblegum vibe, and that sort of ice cream feel that I got really early in the opening is definitely gone. But this is actually a nice fragrance too, and I actually think it's a little bit classier with regards to Wulong Cha. Wulong Cha, very nice, good, fresh, chill fragrance. But the Rhubarb Sherbet does come off a little bit classier in the sense that I think it's maybe more suitable for somewhat more formal occasions. But nice fragrance altogether. Not what I was expecting. I was hoping for a little bit more tartness with that one, and it is fairly sweet. But still does smell nice. But ultimately, I will say it is not what I was looking for with a rhubarb forward fragrance. I do like the tartness that it can bring, and this doesn't seem to have that. But I'm going to give these both a try more, wear them more, think about them more in depth, see what they smell like the whole way through. First impressions are fun, but of course often miss a lot about what the fragrance has to offer. I will say this Nishane has much better performance or projection anyway than the Rhubarb Sherbet. So this one is fairly faint. It is a little bit, you know, I can smell it a little bit, but as I'm moving around, as I'm sitting here, what I'm getting mostly wafts of is the Wulong Cha. So it does seem to perform very well. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to cut it there. Have you guys tried either of these fragrances? If so, leave a comment down below. What's your favorite rhubarb fragrance? What's your favorite tea fragrance? Let me know. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.